Hey, what's good, everybody? This is Musiq Soulchild, and you already know. You know I got soul.
So here with Musiq Soulchild once again. It's been about 6 months since Victims and Villains came out, your collaborative album with Hit Boy.
Yeah.
As I mentioned to you at the time, loving what you came with that album.
Thank you.
Amazing project. Really showed your growth and progression as an artist. But I want to hear from you, looking back 6 months now, reflect on it a bit. How do you reflect on that project since it's released?
It's interesting. Like I told my people, this actually feels like it's my first album. That's what's really crazy because of how they came about, how I was able to be so efficient with it. I didn't really have to think too much. I didn't really have to work too hard. Hit Boy is a genius, who's light years ahead of his time. And I'm just grateful that we were able to connect, and that's actually how the album started. I was just working on songs, being excited to work with Hit Boy. It becoming an album what came later, so I had to rush to kind of make it an album. But even then, it wasn't that much of a challenge. It was pretty effortless. And as I was recording it and mixing it, and shouts out to Dave Kemp, he's the mixing engineer. It just felt like I was in my element. I didn't have the usual anxiety that comes with recording because I want to make sure that I have the necessary songs to please the different markets and demographics and blah, blah. I was really like, bro, this is what I'm on. You either go or rock with it or you're not, So it was definitely an experience, a very welcomed one. So I'm very grateful that what came out of it came out of it.
And I've really enjoyed watching the rollout, as you've put video after video out. It's really something special. And shout out to your team, Mocha and Norm and the whole team who've really been behind it. And
yeah, and shouts out to the director that I work with, Caleb Seals, in Open Season.
But no one, like, as these videos were creeping up, I'm like, all right, we have a video.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have another and another. It's like, okay, we're gonna get one for every song. All right, I'm like, wait, no one's doing this. This is actually really special. And as you watch each one, they're really cinematic. They really represent the tracks well. Just talk about the idea behind putting all these together.
Well, I always wanted to do this, but I didn't have the resources or the time, to do it before. I low-key don't still, but I've been figuring it out, as I go. I'll do a show or two and I'll put some bread aside. And, the people is really the people that I'm working with being so understanding and so gracious and, allowing me to, hit them when I can, but still getting the work done. So it's a group effort, and everybody involved understands the assignment, and they get that I'm really trying to do something really cool. And it's hard to really get people on board with that because, respectfully and understandably, a lot of people are like, bro, but when am I gonna get paid? And it's like, can we do the thing first? So I'm working with a lot of people with, vision, and it took a while to find people like that. And I'm so grateful because I've been able to get a lot accomplished. So you guys are able to enjoy, more offerings, according to my creative mind that I haven't been able to really tap into, but now I'm able to. And hopefully in the future, I'll be able to do more.
Talk about that creative mind a bit, because what you're doing right now, it's a bit different than your peers who maybe have taken some time away from recording. They're just kind of doing shows, but you are operating at a high level after all these years, still progressing your brand and your sound. What motivates you to do that?
It's like a sneeze. I have to do it. I can't. I'm powerless against it, So, but what used to be a challenge for me was I was too over-concerned about how it would be received. I was very insecure and I lacked confidence in a lot of ways for a very long time. And I ran into that traffic during the shutdown, and I had to navigate and figure a lot of that out because it was interfering with my ability to be productive. So I learned to, unpack a lot of things, address a lot of things, sit with a lot of things, and throw away the trash, so that I can get on with my life. And this project, Victims and Villains, is, a representation of that, of just moving forward and tapping into what's already there, and just not being too concerned, if at all, really, about how it's going to be received. And the reason why I was so concerned about that, because I see myself as a public servant, so I care about, people's experiences whenever I'm offering them something, because that helps me understand if I'm doing something necessary, if people even buying into it. Is it a waste of time? Am I spinning my wheels? Like, I don't know, and I'm not here to waste nobody's time, especially not mine. But then I had to realize you can't think like that, because apparently you have a gift and a mission, and you have a path that you need to be on. You have a purpose, and you can't allow what's happening today to interfere with you still doing it. You may not see the results, or you may not get the reaction that you may need and want at the time, but have the confidence that you put enough in it to know that it's good and it's going to serve whoever it's intended to serve. That's not up to you. Don't concern yourself with that. Focus on doing it and becoming it, and, and manifesting it, and whatever happens after that happens.
No, that's really inspirational to share, because I've watched you fearlessly, go after your creative directions, and some haven't been received well, and unfairly at times, and some people didn't get it. But the point is, you've done it. You wanted to be creative, and you didn't let anyone stop you, which I think is very admirable.
Yeah, it took me a minute to get there, but and I'm still, I have residue, because I'm still a human, and I'm very, I'm a sensitive creator, and it comes in waves. But I'm definitely better with it. I've gotten better with it than I have in the past. As a matter of fact, if I'm being completely transparent, I didn't realize, how much toughening up I needed, because my timeline was pretty blessed. I didn't really have a lot of resistance. So you could even say I was spoiled, in that way, because people received whatever I was offering pretty well. Despite whatever I may have felt I could have done better or whatever, people would, go out of their way to let me know that, this song and that album and blah, blah, blah. And I would take that to heart and be like, okay, cool. So I guess I overestimated, like, oh, then you must gonna love this. And they was like, I don't know what that is. What do you mean? It's the other thing, right? But I kind of misprocessed that. But I've had time to sit with it and understand, oh, that's not what was happening. What was happening is people needed a heads up, or they were looking for something and you disappeared, and they thought that you were doing something else, there, clearly I wasn't doing, but people can't hear that, They look for what they look for, and they expect what they expect. And if you give them something else, they're like, what the fuck, Right. So I had to respect that, So I went back to the drawing board. I put out a new album just to let them know, hey, I didn't go the other way because of some concept of what people get real creative with their, headcanon of what it was. I was, he fell off, or he lost it. He can't do it anymore. He's trying to be, hip. He's trying to, compete with the kids. And they're like, no, that's not what's happening. I just was trying to be creative. My bad. But what it also did, it made it created an unstable insecurity amongst my supporters, because they're like, so you telling me I'm not about to get what I came for no more? It's like, no, that's not what I'm. As a matter of fact, you know what? Hey, let me go ahead and wrap that up. Let me get back to the thing, and But by then, I think people were kind of pissed off. But I think this album, Victims and Villains, I think it helped to remind people, like, I'm this guy, and this is what I do. I had to remind myself, actually, to be honest. I kind of lost sight of the road, and I didn't really feel, that I had it like I thought I had it. I don't know. It got weird, but definitely shouts out to Hit Boy because he contributed heavily to me being inspired to even record. I was not even trying to record no more. I just didn't think anybody cared. Well, I say in the show, and you know, that it's been my observation that in our culture and traditional music, after a certain amount of years, people just move on. It's fine. But what do people like me who's still here and still want to put stuff out? What do we do? Right? You know, do we stop? Do y'all want us to stop? Because that's kind of weird to me. You know, let me know.
Well, based on the reaction here tonight, no one wants you to stop. 4 sold-out shows here in New York City.
And I wasn't trying to stop.
Well, on that note, tell us, to wrap this interview up, because I know you got another show. What do you got coming next? I heard you might be working on some more new music.
Well, I was trying to put out another album, but this year, that is. But I just got hella busy, man. These shows kind of like derailed that concept. I might still be able to get something out, if at least a song by the end of this year, but I don't know about a whole album. That's just way too much work. So maybe I might. I don't know. It all depends. You know, I may have a stretch of time because it don't really take long. Excuse me. I may have a stretch of time to maybe make November or December, maybe. If not, I'm definitely gonna, shoot for top of next year, somewhere in the February, March area. I don't know, but I'm definitely, I already have stuff, ready to go, but it's not a full thing, plus the victims and villains thing is actually, they still got legs, and I don't want to, I don't want to cut that down. So I'm just going with the flow. I don't really have a set plan. I'm low-key following you guys. You guys are still responsive, so we don't always have it all figured out, people. So yeah, we just know what we want to do, and we hope that y'all dig it. So that's what's happening right now. I'm doing stuff. I'm discovering stuff. I'm doing stuff that I always wanted to do, and I'm definitely going to, put more energy behind all the, the alternate, endeavors as well, because I got attention that people, really responded well to those as well. I don't know. I'm just going to stay. I like the pace that I'm on, and I'm going to do my best to stay on this pace, and keep it consistent at the very least. And if I could turn it up a little bit, I'll turn up some.
You mentioned documentary. Can you tell us a bit more about what that is? That's called?
Oh, yeah. So I'm not actually running it. It's being run in my name. As far as I know, it's doing well. I saw a trailer, that the one who's kind of like overseeing it. I want to see that story. Because I just talk, and then I just say a lot of stuff, and he was able to source a lot of footage that I didn't even know existed. And I was like, I remember that. Wow, that's crazy. It lives in my head because I was there and it happened, but I didn't know that there was actual footage of a lot of stuff. And the way that he, took the certain pieces that were appropriate to whatever he was showing. It's crazy. It was weird seeing it because it's one thing to live your life. It's another thing to see your life be told back to you. It was weird. It was okay. Because I remember where I was emotionally and mentally at that time, and I've since moved on, and I've grown and gotten better, and processed a lot of stuff. So to see myself how I was back then is a little cringe. But there's always the conversation of, it may be that way for you, but you can't imagine how inspirational that may be for some people, because you can't imagine how many people are walking their lives like that, and you have the blessing of having a platform where you can, tell your story. That ironically is very parallel to a lot of people. So hopefully, whatever I've been through can help somebody else out there. I wish I had my story told to me through somebody else to kind of give me a heads up of what to look forward to and how to prepare and anticipate certain situations. But, it ain't shake out that way for me. But when you're the first one of something, hey, you got to be the crash dummy, bro. But, you learn, and you're better for it. And you're able to, offer up the game from a real way, not just because it sounds cool. Like, no, fam, I've been through that. Here's what happened. You might not want to go there. Take your exit and go do this, So, I don't know. It's a surreal kind of experience. But, yeah, a documentary is being made about me. Yeah, we'll see how that turns out.
We're looking forward to checking that out as well. I'm going to let you get to your show. I want to thank you as always for your time. Thank you for this great body of work, Victims and Villains, and look forward to what's to come. But of course, you always have our support. Always happy to.
Nice. Yeah, that's the only reason why I'm talking to you. It's not the only reason. It's the main reason, because you have been so supportive and consistent. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks, Musiq.